All right, so let's get started. Yesterday we were talking about multiplying decimals, understanding that multiplication is really just repeated addition. And what we did was we multiplied decimals by 10, 100, 1000, and also multiples of 10, 100, 1000. And the pattern that we noticed on the table that we made was really when we're multiplying by multiples of 10, 100, 1000, it's really just a matter of sliding that decimal place to the right, the number of zeros that were in the number. So if you're multiplying by 100, you take your original number, slide that decimal point over to the right twice, and that's your answer. What I kind of like to do today is talk about how to estimate decimal products using rounding and clustering. Rounding, we know. Clustering is a new term, and I kind of want to go over that with you. In order to estimate, using rounding, there's really two steps, and it's not that hard at all. You round each factor to the greatest place value and then you multiply the rounded factors. And I'm going to give you an example. And my example is going to be that. I'm going to show you the long way of doing this, which really isn't long. It's just what would go on in your head. And then the rest of it is just done mentally. So I have two factors. I have a multiplicand and a multiplier. My top number is the multiplicand. That multiplicand is 48 and 95 100ths. Where is the greatest place value? Your greatest place value is this. That is the greatest place value. What place value is that 4 in? That 4 is in the tens place value. Which means if I had a number line that was skip counting by tens, what two numbers would 48.95 be between? If I were skip counting by tens, Nick M.
40 and 50.
I'm going to write that right here. And again, we're just doing it the long way this time so you see what's going on. Is 48.95 closer to 40 or 50? Oh, you all froze. Hold on a second. 48.95 is closer to 50. So that's how we would round that. Now, let's go down to the multiplier, 3 and 8/10. What digit is in the greatest place value? Nick F. Nick Franco. In 3.8, what digit is in the greatest place value?
3.
Right. What place value is that 3 in? If you had place value columns, what place value is the 3 in?
1.
Right. That's correct. Which means I'm going to make a number line, skip counting by ones. What two ones is 3 and 8/10 between? If you were to find 3 and 8/10 on a number line, what two numbers would it be between? Nick would like to phone a friend. Riley Frobel.
3 and 4.
3 and 4. Is 3 and 8/10 closer to 3 or 4? Riley Frobel?
4.
Yep. That is how to round factors. So now what we do is we take our rounded factors, 50 and 4, and that is your estimate. And we do that every single time. Okay. Now, let's do another one. Oops. Now, what most kids don't like is that when you're writing multiplication problems with decimals, you don't need to line up your decimals. It's going to look very confusing. That's just how it is. Now, let's do that same thing with this problem as we did with our last problem. In our multiplicand, what digit is in the greatest non-zero place value? Nick M?
7.
7. I'm going to circle that 7. And again, this is what you would do in your head. That 7 is in what column, Nick?
The 10s. The
No.
10th.
Tenths, right? What 2/10 is 0.734 between? Anyone? Anyone?
Can you ask the question again?
Yes. What 2/10 is 0.734 between? Go ahead, Nick.
7/10 and 8/10.
Yep. So if I were to draw a number line, 7/10 would be here, 8/10 would be here. Is it closer to 7/10 or 8/10? Good, Nick.
8/10. I mean 7, not 8.
Why? Why do you say that?
Because the hundredths number is not higher than 5 or over.
Correct. That's absolutely correct. So what we're going to do is we're going to round 0.734 to 0.7. Excuse me. Let's look at our multiplier. Samanyu. What digit is in the greatest place value?
22. Oh, I mean the 2 in the first number.
Which one? Which two?
The first one
Which one is the first one?
on the left.
Good. What place value is that in?
It's in the tens.
What two tens is 22.86 between?
20 and 30.
Good. Is 22.86 closer to 20 or 30?
20.
That should look very familiar. That should look exactly like yesterday's lesson. What do I do now? Alex Darby. Does it look familiar?
Kind of.
It's what we did yesterday. So what we're going to do is we're going to take 20, and instead of multiplying by 20, what are we going to take 20 as? Does that make sense? Then we bring down the 0.7. And because of the associative property of multiplication, I can multiply any of those numbers that I want to. Which should we multiply first? Emiliano.
10 times 2.
No. We already know 10 times 2 is 20.
0.7 times 10.
What is 0.7 times 10, Emma?
7.
Right. And then I bring down my times 2. What is 7 times 2? Go ahead, Em.
14.
Correct. So remember, my estimate is 7. My exact answer would be about 7. My estimate is 14. My exact answer would be about 14. Is this making sense? Really, all you're doing is rounding and then doing what you did yesterday. That's all this is. So far, so good? Excellent. Clustering. Clustering sounds incredibly complicated, but it's so easy, it's not even funny. Let me get to my clustering page. Let's do clustering works with addition. I'm going to let you write it down first. If you look at each of your addends, we've got 8 and 91/100ths, 9 and 5/100ths, 8 and 92/100ths, 9 and 7/100ths. Ask yourself this question: what value, being a whole number, is each addend close to? So if you look at all of those numbers, what whole number is each of those decimal numbers close to? They're all near which one whole number? Dylan.
9.
Right, they're all near 9. So with clustering, what you can do is you can take 8.91 and estimate it to 9. Take 9.05, estimate it to 9. 8.92, estimate it to 9. 9.07, estimate it to 9. What can I do to find out what 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9 is? I can turn that into what?
9 times 4.
Right. Use multiplication to solve. Good job. So for this example, I'm going to do 9 times 4 or 4 times 9. It doesn't matter. So my estimate is 36. That's clustering. Is that making sense? Let's try one more. What if it's a decimal? That's a 5. First, write down the problem. And really, clustering can be a mental activity. It can be something that you do in your head. What decimal are all of these numbers near? They're all near what decimal?
1.
1 is not a decimal, 1's a whole number.
Oh, they're all near 0.60.
Yes, exactly. Good job. They're all near 0.60, which we can really write as 0.6, right? Good job, Dylan. They're all near and I'll do this. Does that make sense? They're all near 60/100ths, which can get represented as 6/10. How many of them are there, Dylan?
4.
What do I do?
Times 0.6 by 4.
Good job.
And it's 2.4.
Perfect. Do you remember I taught you before? Look at how many place values the decimal is over. And then you go like this. Does that make sense? We've talked about that before. So when you're working on your independent work today, you're going to be doing some of each of these. You're going to have some clustering with decimals. You will have some clustering with whole numbers. You will have rounding with decimals. And you will have rounding with whole numbers. All 4 of those are going to be on your independent work today. Any confusion, or Mr. D, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Can you go back to the last one?
Do you want to see it, you mean?
Yeah, because I didn't finish writing it.
And what I'm going to do is, when I'm done this class, I'm going to post this video on my YouTube channel, and I'll attach that to Google Classroom. So that way, if you need it during your work, during your independent work, it's there for you to use. You have your notes, you'll have the video. I think this is easy. I don't think it's that hard. If you're going to go wrong, if you're going to make a mistake, where's it going to be? If someone's going to make a mistake, where are they going to make a mistake? What do you think? Reva?
Copy errors.
Maybe copy errors if you're copying it from your page to your paper. Maybe a decimal error, you put that decimal in the wrong place, Alina?
I'm gonna say what you just said.
Okay, sorry. Or yesterday I noticed that some people had some basic math mistakes. So multiplying like 4 times 6 and getting 25 instead of 24, like those basic math errors. So take your time, go slowly and carefully, and I'll post this video as soon as it downloads, okay? If anyone has any questions, send me a message in the stream and I can pop over and help. If you still don't understand, we have online math time at 1:30. So please try to get your math independent work done by 1:30. That way you know if you have problems or not. If you don't have problems, your work is all done. If you do have problems, I will be at math office time to help you. Okay? Any other questions?
When are you gonna post the check-in thing, the paper? Oh, yeah.
The checkout posts at 2 o'clock.
Yeah, the checkout.
2 o'clock.
Okay.
Okay? All right, I'm going to end this meeting, and then you can pop over to Mrs. King in a few minutes.